Hello, welcome to the webinar. Our topic today is SAP Business Objects, Performance Analytics for Engineering, Construction, and Operations. My name is Rich DeMeo, and I am Director of Solution Architecture for the Engineering Construction Practice at Illumity. I have with me here today Laurent Amar, who is the lead account executive for the engineering and construction market, also at Illumity. Thank you all very much for attending. We really appreciate your spending the time with us. Our agenda for today is, first we want to let you know who we are. So we're going to start with a quick introduction that I'll hand it over to Laurent for that, and he'll introduce you to the Illumity organization with respect to our relationship to SAP. Then we'll get into the presentation for performance analytics. We'll start with a short overview of industry business drivers, really the why SAP and Illumity have come to market with this solution. Then we'll go into an overview of the performance analytics solution itself, and then we'll end and probably spend a significant amount of our time today with a demo of the solution online. So again, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to spending the next hour with you and giving you some information on this really important solution. So with that, I would like to hand it over to my colleague Laurent for a quick introduction of who we are at Illumity.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar. As Rich said, my name is Laurent, and I'm one of the account executives here at Illumity. I'm going to spend a few minutes just talking about who we are and what we do. The first slide talks a bit about our mission statement and what we plan, or what our goal is, to enable any company to realize their vision by leveraging the best software in the world, being SAP. We do this by a number of different practices that I'll get into a little bit later on, but that's our mission statement. As opposed to what a lot of people have thought, that SAP is much more for just global type companies, Illumity's focus is on leveraging SAP for the small and mid-sized construction companies. What we do is we thrive on implementing SAP in a pragmatic way. Our tagline is faster, smarter, leaner. It's about taking the SAP solution and giving a pre-configured solution for construction companies. We're passionate about delivering the value to our customers and developing these long-lasting relationships. How we go about doing this is by deploying small expert teams specific to the construction industry. We leverage SAP pre-configured template solutions. So SAP has spent the better part of the last 10 years predefining the solution for the construction industry, and we've taken those templates and made that part of the solution we deliver to our clients. We focus primarily on the practices that give you a differentiator within your industry. So as opposed to thinking about how to deploy standard practices, we employ best practices across different components of the software, thereby enabling you to realize quicker gains using the software. It's not about reconfiguring or trying to figure out standard practices like an accounts payable process. It's much more about taking those practices that give you a competitive advantage in your markets and thereby enhancing the solution around those competitive advantages. Some quick facts about Illumity. We were founded in 2000. We've been in business for close to a little over 13 years. In 2013, we had revenues of $67 million across a multitude of different industries, and primarily in the U.S. and Canada, but we have done quite a bit of work in North America and other parts of the world as well. Really, the two key points here that I want to take from the quick facts slide is we've been SAP's Channel Partner of the Year for the past 4 years. And what that really means to our customers is that through SAP's customer satisfaction surveys, as a partner, we achieve the highest level of customer satisfaction, as well as it means we sell more software than any other partner in Canada. And if we've done the sale of that software, we therefore have done the implementation. We've done over 90 net new SAP implementations across our client base. Our goal is to be the #1 partner, channel partner in North America by 2015. We're headquartered here in Richmond Hill, Ontario, just north of Toronto, with multiple offices across North America. Our Western Canadian office is in Calgary, and then we have 2 U.S. offices, one in Boston, one in Denver, as well as a European office in Zurich. So that's just some quick information about who we are and what we do. I'll now turn it over back to Rich to get into the balance of the presentation.
Thank you, Laurent. Thanks very much. So, yeah, thanks a lot. Before I get started, I just wanted to give you a little bit about my background as well. And Laurent mentioned the U.S. offices. I'm actually based out of the Denver office. And prior to Illumity, I had the good fortune to work in the solution management part of SAP in the engineering, construction, and operations group. And when I was there, I was involved in the development of this analytics solution. So it's something that is very near to my heart, I guess I would say. And so very interested in presenting this to you. Prior to that, I actually spent a significant amount of time in the construction industry as a project engineer for some of the larger construction companies, including one of SAP's largest customers. So that's just a little bit about myself. So as I said before, I'd like to start with how we came at this and how we decided to provide a solution, an analytics solution to construction companies, and what the business drivers are that created that need. So what construction companies tell us when we talk to them is they have a number of challenges, particularly in today's market. First and foremost, this industry is intensely competitive. So what they say is their need for efficiency is very important to them, and their need to add value for customers through that efficiency is essential to the successful running of their business. With respect to that, operational performance is paramount. They need to make very efficient use of their resources on projects. They need to manage profitability closely, and they need to manage and mitigate risk because they are in a very risky business. The other thing that I hear a lot is the need for getting the maximum return on their talent. So they want to optimize their use of talent. Skilled engineers and project managers are a scarce resource. And the more productive that they can make those people and the more accurate information that they can give them, the better that those people will perform and provide value to the company. And the way they hope to do this is to essentially to provide insight into the business. And this is really, I would say, the core of the challenge that they have is the ability to have key insight into the business, to give your people up-to-date information, to enable them to manage operational performance in real time and compete effectively. It all comes down to providing that insight. It's really a prerequisite to solving all the other challenges the business has. So, that insight really was our goal here, to provide that through an analytical and reporting solution. Another issue they have around this very often is sometimes they may not have a unified set of applications that they use to run their business. They may have a separate application for projects. They may have a separate application for financials, one for HR, etc. So the the often disconnected nature of systems is a real challenge to them. So, we thought about this and we thought, how can we help those customers and those companies in this business? And the way we do this with performance analytics is we create a central data repository on which we provide industry-specific dashboards with key performance indicators so that they can monitor and manage their business. This provides them with the fast and accurate insight that they need, and it enables them to make proactive decisions that improve their performance as a business. And that's really the ultimate goal of this performance analytics solution. So what we're going for here is we're looking for a seamless analytic approach that provides the key information that they need to understand their business, to know what's going on, to decide the action that needs to be taken, and to take that action, to act proactively. And that's really the bottom line. So what we've done is we've put together a solution that enables them to track their key information. So we've provided them with the ability to manage project progress and forecasts. We've given them tools to understand cash flow and liquidity. We have analytics that enable them to manage their resource productivity, labor, equipment, etc. We provide dashboards also to allow them to manage financial information and manage the profitability of their company as well as their projects, and in addition to that, manage some business development and bidding activities as well. So what is this solution then, this performance analytics for engineering, construction, and operations? So there's a lot of information on this slide here, but I want to highlight really what this solution is first. So three things. One is it is a set of pre-configured analytic content for the engineering and construction industry. So we provide pre-built or pre-configured content for the industry. Second, the solution is based on input from SAP construction industry customers. And it might be interesting for some of you to know, but SAP has over 1,000 construction industry customers running their solutions worldwide. They have an organization called the Engineering and Construction Executive Advisory Council, which is basically a customer executive user group. And this project to build this this pre-configured set of applications was based on specific input from that group. And then thirdly, I want to emphasize also, this is an SAP Business Objects solution, and it is back-end independent. That is, many, in fact, the majority of customers that run SAP Business Objects do so utilizing ERP backends that are other than SAP. So you don't have to run SAP ERP to run this solution, and that's really important. From a delivery standpoint, as I said, the software is SAP Business Objects. The industry content includes pre-configured dashboards, so there are 7 dashboards included, over 31 key performance indicators for the engineering construction industry, over 60 charts and reports associated with that industry as well. And we provide both a project-specific view and a business-wide view. So you see project performance and business performance here. From a project management standpoint, we provide analytics on individual projects, and then from a business standpoint, we provide analytics for different organizational parts of your business and across multiple projects or portfolios of projects. In addition, the solution comes with specific documentation of the configuration and documentation for training. And then Illumity provides the service to implement the solution and we leverage our deep expertise in terms of the SAP Business Object Solution, as well as our industry expertise in the engineering construction industry. In terms of the specifics of the solution, basically what you're going to see is we have analytical solutions in three primary areas. We have financial management information, project management information, and resource management information. If you look at this chart here, the items with the red boxes are the ones that are part of the core analytic solution for engineering and construction. And that's really what we're going to look at today. In addition, there are extensions available through SAP Business Object Solutions. So for example, as an option, we can take these analytics that you're going to see, and we can provide a mobile version of that as well. So some of these ones that are not outlined are available. They're just not necessarily part of this, this core pre-configured solution that we're going to show you today. Okay, very good. So let me move over to the solution demo, and we'll jump into the system. Okay, very good. All right, so this is the analytics solution for engineering construction, and I will give you just a quick overview of how the navigation and how these dashboards are laid out, and then we can get into some of the specific dashboards. So if you look across the top of your screen, you see 7 different tabs, and I had mentioned a moment ago that we have 7 dashboards available. That's what these tabs are. So you click on one of these tabs and it brings you to a specific dashboard. I also mentioned that we have project-specific analytics, and we have business-wide analytics. So anything that says project here, like project financial summary, project execution, project resource, those are meant to be analytics for specific projects. In addition, we have some business-wide dashboards. So these cut across projects, and they're based on whatever organizational part of the business you want to report on. So that's the way this is laid out. Again, across the top, all the dashboards, you'll see some sort of filter or selection criteria at the top that allows you to narrow your search to, say, like a particular project. So for example, if you were looking for a project in a specific division, let's say it was the central division, which this one in particular is a part of, you could choose that. You could see then which project managers, if you were interested in a particular project manager, you could choose that individual and then choose the individual project. So I'm working on this Infinity Towers project, and that's what we'll look at today. The way these are laid out, we have typically at the top of each dashboard, you'll see some type of financial performance information. In this case, we're looking at revenue, cost, and margin, and we're looking at budget, actual, forecast, and variance. The other thing you'll see typically in the center of the form is that's typically where we put information like key performance indicators that we want to measure our performance against. We have scroll bars so that you can scroll up and down in these various sections. And in this particular dashboard, it just gives you some general information about project attributes. And then in addition to that, you'll see different types of charts and graphics that are designed to give you information based on what part of the project that you want to investigate. So this particular chart, they're looking at revenue and net cash, but you'll see some others in a few minutes. The interesting thing about these charts is you can hover over different parts of them and get specific numeric information as you point to it. So you get the specific information with respect to what the chart is showing you. The other thing I wanted to point out just briefly is we also have links to just regular tabular reports, so you can actually access your reports from here as well. So for example, you could highlight, if you wanted to see a cost summary report, you could highlight cost summary report and hit get report here. And I actually pre-ran one of these prior. And you get information, this is a typical project cost report. We have budget information, original, current, pending changes, commitments, actuals, estimate to complete, estimate at complete, forecast variance, etc. So what we provide is a series of reports. There are a number of different ones. Change orders, materials, productivity, subcontractor reporting, etc. That are available from these links here. Okay, very good. So what I'd like to do then is I would like to start with the project financial summary. And we'll bring up a project financial summary dashboard. And again, as you see, we have financial information at the top and key performance information in the center here. And then we have these charts. So right now, the default here is it highlighted the revenue section. And so what you'll see is all the charts and graphics here are related to revenue. Okay? So here we have a chart that shows revenue forecast and actual over time. So here's your actual, here's your forecast. And it looks like this project is at this time phase. So you can see your actuals and your forecast and how you're performing against your plan. So again, these charts show different types of information with respect to revenue by revenue source, from the original contract, from change orders, etc. Okay. Now, if I hover over another part of the financial information, I can look at different sets of charts. So if I'm interested in information on cost, I can just highlight cost and I can click on this and all my charts and graphics will change. Right? So now I'm looking at information related to my project cost. So in the upper right-hand corner, I have information on my budget, my original budget, my current budget, actuals to date, projected to complete, and estimate at completion. And again, as you see, when you hover over any part of these charts and graphics, you can see specific value information related to that. All right. So we have a cost trend chart. So over time, based on my cost plan and my cost actuals, how am I performing? And then what is my forecast on a monthly basis going forward? All right. Moving on, let's take a look at margin. And so again, you can look at margin information. You can look at margin information by source. Here is a margin trend chart. So it shows you your actual margin versus your planned and what your forecast or your projected was. So it just gives you a time-phased projection to let you know how you're performing from a financial perspective. And then let's see, I wanted to show another one of these here. If you're interested in cash position or liquidity, if you hover over any one of these items associated with cash, click on that and you'll see a new set of charts with respect to cash position. So again, net cash position, revenue and net cash, etc. All right, at any given point in time. And then and you want to be able to manage that against your plan as well, so that you can see your performance versus what you've planned. Okay, very good. And then you see we have some other performance indicators here as well. We have information on backlog on this particular project, accounts payable and accounts receivable information, contract amount, original and current. So basically all your financial information with respect to this project, as well as the reports that you can access on the left-hand side. Okay. Next thing I would like to take a look at is the project resource summary. So I said we were going to talk about project resources, so I want to jump in here. So in terms of project resources, we provide, again, some key performance indicators related to resource productivity. So when we spoke to customers and they asked, what are some of the important productivity factors they wanted to see, these are the ones they came up with. Staff to craft ratio is just simply a ratio of project management and engineering type staff, so salaried staff versus trade labor. So that's what some in the industry call staff to craft ratio, and it's an indicator of how well a company is staffing their projects and how productive their salaried staff really is. Then labor efficiency and productivity I'll get into down below in the charts. Let's see, another indicator was revenue per project staff FTE. So that was a key performance indicator for some of our customers, so we included that, and utilization of equipment. So if we look at productivity, I have a couple interesting charts down here. So here's a project and it's broken down by discipline or by work breakdown structure is the way it's done in an SAP solution if you were running SAP. And so let's say we were interested in how we were performing with respect to piping. So if I click on pipe, you can see I have a productivity index of 1.03. And the productivity index is actual productivity divided by budgeted productivity. And when I talk about productivity, I'm thinking of quantities put in place. So let's say it's linear feet of pipe. Linear feet per labor hour might be my productivity measure, for example, right? So an index of greater than 1 means that you're achieving better than what you budgeted in productivity, right? So if you look at the chart on the right, what you see is your baseline is 1.0, that's what you're shooting for, and your index is shown in these bar charts. So a green bar means you're greater than 1, a red bar means that you're less than 1. And again, so you see this monthly productivity over time. Then we also have this thing called labor efficiency index, and the labor efficiency, and I believe, if I remember correctly when we specified this, I think the labor efficiency index is related to cost per linear foot. So you can see the labor efficiency index. Again, it's another index. The target rate is 1.0, and you can see that varying over time. The other interesting thing about this chart too, is you can show a monthly productivity, so you can show the difference from month to month, or you can show cumulative to date. And this shows cumulative labor efficiency index and productivity index here. Okay? And the other interesting thing about this is each discipline that you choose, so let's say you wanted to look at concrete, you'll see the chart on the right will change for concrete. So if you're interested in concrete, this is what your story looks like for concrete, etc. Okay? So, and this is most relevant obviously for companies that self-perform work, have their own labor, and they're investing that in, and production is everything to them. All right, very good. Let's see. So let me show you the financial summary from a business perspective. So now we're moving to the dashboards for business-wide information. And from a business standpoint, we're looking at cross projects or multiple projects. So right now I'm showing a dashboard. This is the entire business. If you were reporting financially, you know, if there are different organizational structures within your company where you report financially, you can actually filter this and get information for different parts of the business. There's actually another feature in here that filters by line of work and market, and we'll show that in a moment. But basically, what we're looking at is financial performance. This is for the business as a whole in this particular example. And so what I have here is I have actual and planned information across projects. So here I'm looking at the top 5 projects by revenue in the company, right? If I wanted to look at margin, I could click on margin and I'd see a different set of charts. But let's just start with revenue. I'm looking at my top 5, let's say. You know, I could see a different 5 projects if I want, and I can toggle back and forth. But I'm looking at my actual versus planned, based on a particular financial period, by the way. So this is all recognized revenue that we're looking at here. I can break things out by region. If you look in the lower right-hand corner, I can break things out by region. I can break things out by line of work, say highway versus building division, let's say. So I can slice and dice these different ways. Here, I'm gonna drill on margin here real quick too, because I like some of these filters here for margin. So for margin, we have a few charts. We have the margin trend chart. It's similar to what we've seen, only this is for the business as a whole. And what we're showing is planned margin, margin on in-progress jobs, and margin on completed jobs. So we have these different categories of projects that we're looking at. In the lower left-hand corner, we're looking at margin by source. So we're looking at actual and planned. So we can see this based in absolute dollars, or if we want to, we can see it in percentage. And we can look and we can say, for example, our building division is achieving actual margin in line with our plan. In fact, our highway division is actually achieving a higher margin than we had planned. And we can just slice this different ways, and this is based on how your organization is structured. You can look at it, in this case we're using line of work. You can look at it by region as well. And then we have one other chart here looking at margin. These are specific projects. Each point on this chart is a specific project. So here's a project, it's 15% complete, and its margin to date is 7.1% on work completed. And then we have, basically, you can see the scatter plot. And so obviously a project that's mostly complete, you're going to be pretty accurate on what your margin is going to be. And of course, these are not as fully complete as well. Let's see, I want to show one other thing on the business financial, this the liquidity or cash position. So if I click on cash, I have some charts that give you just kind of a quick look at how you're performing from a cash position perspective. These are number of projects. Green is in positive cash position. Red is in negative cash position. We have another top and bottom 5 chart in terms of the largest or smallest projects and how they're performing from a cash flow standpoint. And then in the lower left, we have some liquidity information. So we're showing in the blue days cash needed on the asset side and days cash provided on the liability side. The net is really telling you whether you are providing funds for work or if you're providing cash from the operations to enable you to complete projects. So that's the cash management piece as well. There are some other financial key performance indicators here. Some key performance indicator with respect to project, with respect to backlog, receivables and payables information in terms of days payable and receivable outstanding, return on assets and return on invested capital. Let's see. Let me show. I'll show you one more of these too. Let's look at business resources. Again, this is another productivity factor, but again, this is business-wide, not project-specific. So basically, you know, staff-to-craft ratio is basically an aggregation of what we saw before, but this is across all your projects. Equipment utilization is actually an interesting thing to report on because that's much more relevant on an organizational or company-wide basis rather than it is specifically for a project. So equipment utilization is another one, and we have some charts on these as well. And then productivity from a labor or from an employee standpoint or a labor standpoint, revenue per employee, which is something that some of the SAP customers track, so we included it here. And again, this productivity, this revenue per employee productivity factor is just company-wide. It's just a high-level metric that, that some companies use. And we broke this out by region in this particular case. You could also show it by division here. And these are some of the divisions that we use as examples. But again, this is productivity in terms of revenue per employee. We also have a chart that shows the trend of that as well. All right, very good. So I think I'm going to stop there. There are a couple other charts, and I could drill down into every single one of them. But what I would rather do is encourage you to contact us. Again, my name is Rich DeMeo, and you heard from Laurent earlier. And we have our email addresses here online. Please contact us. We would be very pleased to go in much more depth with you with respect to the solution, its architecture, you know, what it would take to implement this at your company. So if you have interest, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, it's rdemeo@illumity.com for myself, lmr@illumity.com for Laurent. And we thank you very much for spending the time with us and wish you a very good day. Thank you. Laurent, do you have anything to add before we sign off?
No, Rich, thank you very much for that presentation. And again, everyone, thank you for spending your the past hour with us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to any questions or comments you may have about today's webinar. Have a great day.
Thanks very much.